Now, Mike, I know with Penn State, you're busy watching the game and taking all your notes and writing the stories up. But if you get a chance, tape some other top college programs. Florida State playing Oklahoma. Florida, number 15th in the nation. Just watch these offenses and then go watch what Penn State's doing. It's as if, I don't know, it's circa 1974 offense. It's so broken. I'm not blaming the players anymore. I'm blaming the play calling. There was times during the game with Temple, and granted, I think Temple's not a bad team. Maybe some people underestimate how good they were. But there was times they were so predictable, I could see they were going to run up the middle. I could see it was going to be a pass to a certain area. And that's getting frustrating. I also think the chain of command is just broken. You've got Galen Hall and Jay Paterno calling offensive plays. You've got Paterno up here probably hollering at them too. Plays are getting in late. I think there's a whole big reason why this team looks very dysfunctional in offense right now. Your thoughts on this?
Well, a couple of years ago, remember the spread HD?
Oh yeah,
which was Jay Paterno's name for what they were going to try to do.
Sure.
It seems like
got a lot of hype.
It seems like the spread offense that so many teams are running now, and I think defenses are catching up to it a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, to some extent. I mean, you talk about Florida State and Oklahoma. Not a whole lot of points scored or flying up and down the field in that game. That was a lot of defense being played in that game. But anyway, it's a good point. I think that if you use the quarterback more as a multiple threat, as a running threat, that would, I think, make the quarterback decision a little clearer too, because
Sure.
Obviously Rob Bolden is a better athlete and a better runner than Matt McGloin would be. So that, I think that's a very real thing, and I think that maybe it's something that I'll look into this week a little bit, and maybe in the coverage of the game on Saturday, because obviously it's a pretty blah game in every other way. In Eastern Michigan, it's really just a scrimmage.
Yeah, I just think it would use it. Isn't that what they used when they had Clark? Darryl Clark was there. They were multi-dimensional. That's sort of the same kind of athlete we had with Bolden. I thought it was clutch down the stretch, though. Bolden made a very good play. Maybe that's more of a play you were mentioning that could be more indicative of his talent as a quarterback. Could McGloin have made that same play in that fourth down catch that Moy made towards the end zone? Is that
they converted a 4th and 2. They were on about the 23-yard line, I think, and it was about an 11-yard play, and it was a strike, and it had to be a strike because Derek Moy was pretty well covered, and it was almost, Moy, who had a terrific game, it was almost like a basketball box out to create himself some space, and he made the play. So Penn State did, this is something that I wrote about yesterday in the paper. Penn State was not able to overwhelm Temple, which you think, oh, God, if they can't overwhelm Temple. But the other side of that is because they weren't able to, they got in a tough football game. They got in a situation where they had to make some plays. We're always talking about make some plays. Well, they made some and came away with a win. And Joe, in his press conference today, kind of reflected that. He said, when that game was first over, I was kind of disgusted. He didn't use those words, but kind of thinking that things were bad. But then when I watched the film, talk to the coaches, talk to some of the kids, I feel a little better about it.
I think it could bode well for the future. It's nice to play in a close game like that.
Yep.
Temple's improvement. Okay, I'll give him that. The defense was impressive. I want to talk about next week, but I do have to mention Mike Maudie had a great game.
Mike Maudie had a great game.
I think
he really did.
I think there were some other players that came
Sean
up.
Stanley had a great game.
Okay.
Devin Still is
every week he has a big game.
is good. Is just a really good player, and their defense is good. Their defense is tough.
What do you want to see out of Penn State with Eastern Michigan this week?
Well, maybe a little more variety in the offense, not only in terms of X's and O's, but in terms of people getting the ball. We brought up Curtis Drake in the press conference today, and Joe was a little bit evasive. Some things have to be straightened out. It almost sounds like there's something going on other than just injuries, maybe academics or misdeeds away from the field. Or I don't know that though. That's just I'm speculating, but that's how he made it sound. He certainly is a guy who I've said this 100 times, I think he would be a big help. So I think just becoming a little more multifaceted offensively.
I want to see him emerge with a quarterback situation finally settled. Somebody's got.
Well, I'll be very surprised if that happens this week because it's such a feeble opponent.
Well, I hope one of these quarterbacks shines, because that's what the other thing that hasn't happened is none of these quarterbacks have really set themselves up. The coaches haven't helped Eddie, because I think it's hard to get in a rhythm, but these guys haven't helped themselves either. And McGloin made one pass after the Chaz Powell interception. double coverage in that end zone. I'm thinking, this is what's gotten you into trouble last year and in the bowl game. You haven't learned.
But in fairness to McGloin, he had good numbers and had a 60-yard touchdown call back for a holding penalty.
I want 40-some points this week, 52-10 final against Eastern Michigan.
Duly noted.